Well, hello everybody. So welcome back to this year's Halloween special. Um, so this time I'm going to be reviewing a 2002 horror slash thriller film called Below. Now this is kind of a really spooky movie. It takes place during World War II on a U-boat on a submarine. And there's a vague occurrence with a German vessel being downed by this American submarine, and you don't know that much about it. It's a sort of where at the end of this situation is where the film starts off, but they have rescued a few supposed English survivors from this ship, and two men, and there's one woman, and that doesn't matter directly, but the fact that she's this one woman on this boat plays into it plays into the storyline and the tension and the drama between everybody in the sort of relationship they had amongst each other before this starts to go on. And yeah, so basically you don't really know what's going on, but some really spooky. They do a good job, they have a few skirmishes with some enemy vessels and stuff like that, and it's pretty standard seeming, like standard movie military kind of stuff. Yeah, but just strange noises. They do a good job, like the sound effects in this are really good. Like they do a good job building tension through sound, these creepy kind of noises from outside in the ocean. And yeah, just some strange noises start to be happening, some strange glimpses of some ghostly like stuff starts going on. And yeah, just and again, eventually people start to catch on to what's going on, and others are kind of more in more disbelief about it, which creates more tension. It's basically similar to a survival movie, but with like a haunted kind of mysterious twist to it. And I will say there's sort of a twist in an ending reveal per se, but it's revealed sooner than the ending. About probably, I'd say, the last part of the second half of the film is when this starts to come into fruition. But it loops back to the situation they had headed out from. It seems like a fairly standard situation, but there was actually something, which I won't get into, is a little complex to explain, but there's something kind of secretive that went on during this that you find out with that it isn't necessarily a direct storyline per se. Well, it doesn't connect to the direct storyline per se, but it basically just kind of adds extra mystery to this situation. And yes, it was kind of all right. It was a little bit shoddy. It wasn't a perfect twist or anything like that, but it worked. It definitely worked for what it was. Another interesting thing I will say. Oh, there was one death. There was a really actually creepy scene that I think had really good tension to it, and really good. Just was acted out very well, but they kind of jumped the shark. They went too far with it after it should have stopped at a certain point, and it would have been really creepy, which it was before, but then they just kind of went over the top to jump the shark. But it was written. One of the writers on this movie was Darren Aronofsky, one of my favorite directors of all time, and he was also one of the producers on this. I didn't realize that until the end credits came up. Yeah, but it's not a perfect movie. It's a little bit low budget. Oh yeah, and Zach Galifianakis is in this. It's like the only serious role I've ever seen him in. He kind of is the comedic relief in this movie, but he actually does a really good job being in a serious environment and playing a more serious character, even though he is somewhat the comedic relief. The situation is so serious that it's he's still a serious guy, asides being maybe a little bit more comedic than some of the rest of them. But, yeah. Um, but it's not a perfect movie. Some of the acting's a little shoddy. There's some strange editing choices that, maybe would have made some scenes a little better had they been edited a little bit smoother. But it was a little bit choppy at times. Yeah, but that's about all I have to say about Below. I think for grading it, I will give it a B minus, and I think for the cheese grading, I think this is a Baby Bell. This is one of those good yet kind of deliberately cheesy items out there. 100%. So, yeah, that's my review for Below, everybody. Look forward to the rest of my Halloween special. Some more spooky movies to review. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please come back for more. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Halloween special. So next up for the Halloween special, we've got The Breed. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what year this movie came out, probably early 2000s, or early 2010s or something like that. I don't know who any of the producers or writers, or even who the director is, or anything like that. The one thing I do know is that it's a Wes Craven production. Whether he actually was heavy into the producing side of it or not, or what, just some sort of company. I'm not sure that production company he has, but I know it's a Wes Craven production anyway. And it's a complete cheese fest. This is a very cheesy movie, but it's good. I actually really enjoyed my time watching it. It takes place. There's a grandfather of these two brothers that has passed away, and he had this cabin on this remote island on a lake somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So these two brothers and a whole bunch of other friends of theirs decide to go there partying and hanging out for the weekend, kind of thing. And the shame with movies like this is that they all of the characters, they're those typical kind of cheesy characters that they're just kind of there to see get eaten. And it's all, like hipster type people, all, partying and being all sort of, hipster like, which I don't see why they needed to do that, really. Why, I don't know why they need to do that with these movies in general. I mean, if they had more compelling characters and just more regular people, some of the backstories wouldn't come across as, bad or as cheesy as they do sometimes. Another thing is the acting is terrible. The acting is really, really bad. It's very, very bad. And it kind of gave you a lot of time with the characters, I think, as a way to try and desperately get you to care about them. But nonetheless, okay, so they used all German Shepherds for this. And what happened was that there was a dog training facility on this island at one point in time, and there was a rabies outbreak. And so they ended up having to get all these dogs put down. And it's sort of a mystery as to where, because this island is now like populated with these rabid dogs. So it's a mystery as to what exactly went on there. And there's, Actually, some creepy scenes where people are kind of discussing how the dogs could have escaped from there, how some of them could have lived, and I will say that dialogue is pretty creepy. The acting there, as it gets a little bit better, it's alright. And there's sort of a twist to do with that. These were actually, modified dogs, I guess genetically modified in some way to be like more vicious, more killer like, and that there's a twist at the end. But either way, there's hundreds, thousands of these fucking dogs on this island, and they're quite heavily intelligent. They came in on a seaplane. The people came in on a seaplane, and the dogs like knew to chew the rope to. So it sounds ridiculous, but you'd have to see it. It's actually a better time than you would imagine watching it. I will say all the dogs are really, really cool looking, and they are really creepy looking too. Like, they picked some creepy dogs. The best acting in this movie is the dogs. I mean, the dogs are swift. Like, you can tell that they're very, very well trained, highly trained dogs, the ones that they used for the filming of this. And they did great acting at looking terrifying at times. Like, these dogs truly are scary looking dogs. And there's one scene in particular that they did that was actually really unnerving and really spooky with the dogs. Actually, it's hard to explain, but it's a chase sequence, actually, a running sequence with a character, and they did that really creepy. The movie's a little long for what it is, but nonetheless, I wanted it to keep going. Like, I was so entertained during this. Like, the parts that are somewhat good and alright are good, and then even the parts that are really cheesy and really shitty are still hilarious. There's some laugh out loud moments in this for sure. And it's entertaining nonetheless. Like, it's hilarious and it's fun to watch. Most of all, it's fun to watch. So I was drawn into this and I wanted it to keep going. There's another a condition. There's a condition that befalls one of the characters in this movie that I think could have gone somewhere. But was not resolved, and it was wasted, and they killed off that character in a way that didn't seem right for what they had set up. But whatever, I guess. I mean, anything goes in these kind of movies, I guess, right? Yeah. And basically, other than that, that's about all I have to say. But I do recommend watching the movie. It's definitely a fun time. And it's definitely a good Halloween movie. I mean, it's kind of creepy, kind of spooky. It works. But it's nonetheless, it's entertaining to watch. And it's fucking hilarious. Absolutely fucking hilarious. So I think for grading, I'm going to give it a C-. And I know that's a low grading because it's it's a shitty movie altogether, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed watching it, and I recommend watching it, and I think you'll have a good time watching it. And as for the cheese grating, there's no doubt this is getting one of the cheesiest. This is getting the Velveeta single slices. Big time, 100%, the cheesiest. Well, not quite the cheesiest, I guess, but on the top tier of the cheesiest you can get. So yeah, that's my review for The Breed, everybody. Look forward to the final review for the Halloween special, and I hope you're enjoying this Halloween special. Thank you very much for watching. Please come back for more. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Halloween special. So, Lakeview Terrace. This is kind of a spooky thriller movie. I don't know what year it came out. 2006, 2008, something like that. Within that time frame, starring Patrick Wilson, Samuel L. Jackson, and some other really good actors out there too. And this is a really spooky kind of a thriller movie. It takes place at a place called Lakeview Terrace. Forget whereabouts in the United States it is. I think it's California or something like that. And basically, it seems like a innocent enough neighborhood, and they happen to live next door to a really high up there cop played by Samuel L. Jackson, which this is a fucking terrific role. This is like seriously one of Samuel L. Jackson's best roles like ever. There's one of the reviews on the case of it says Samuel L. Jackson at his menacing best, and that is very true. This really is him at his menacing best, and so he's a really intense cop, really serious cop, really high up there, and he's really protective of this neighborhood that he lives in, sort of in a creepy way. He's really protective of his family, and he's really sort of like domineering and kind of spooky, like just the whole way he operates with his family and with this neighborhood and the people. And some people like him, like some people feel safe because even when he's off duty, he does like these neighborhood patrol watch things and keeps an eye on things, and some people think it's all good. But he's really obsessive about it. Like I said, like in the tension build up, and this is really good because the whole time this guy doesn't like something about this new couple that moved in, and he's lurking around and just saying these sort of things and calling people out on things and whatever, that just kind of just get under people's skin and just sort of cause a lot of tension between the characters, and it keeps you wondering like what's going to happen here, like what's going to go on with these people. And so basically, and I mean, this guy too, like there's all kinds of stuff that he has these big lights, these big spotlights that he sets up at his yard so he can see all angles, and all these different security measures that kind of irritate the neighbors, well, especially the lights and stuff like that. So they're trying to be good neighbors and trying to talk to him and trying to persuade him to do this, that, and the other. And yeah, he's just always really menacing and always really spooky, kind of, right? And then you basically find out that this guy's like on his final nerve. He lost his wife a few years ago in a very tragic event with some heavy political stuff behind it, and he's been a cop and dealing with all of this heavy duty stuff for a long time, so he's starting to lose it. Like he's starting to go off his rocker per se, and basically near the end he really does, he snaps big time and goes over the edge, and a conflict arises between him and these neighbors physically, and that's sort of what ultimately resolves the movie, because now it's out in the open. People know for sure that this guy's lost it and he's now hostile, and he ends up getting shot in the end, but I don't like that. I think that like I said, such a menacing and kind of, creepy kind of dude, it would have almost served the story better and been more of a revenge if he was actually like found out, and even if he was still killed, if he was at least like found out and put more on the chopping block about how he's been with his family and about how he's been with some people out there before, rather than just getting shot straight up. But either way, the build up to that, like it's one of the most tense movies I've seen in a long time, really, actually, the tension, and it really is, like, it's a horror movie, kinda, but it really is a thriller. Thriller is the fitting word for it. It's really thrilling to kind of, you're on the tip of your toes waiting to see what's going to happen. And like I said, Patrick Wilson does a great job acting in this too. All the actors do a really good job. But Samuel L. Jackson steals the show 100%, and it's definitely one of his best roles. I think I'm going to give this movie a B plus. I quite enjoyed it. And as for the cheese grating, I don't know. It's not an incredibly cheesy movie. It's got its cheese though. Not tons, but it's there. I'd just say something nice and casual and good, like um, medium cheddar. I'd say medium cheddar. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my review for Lakeview Terrace, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for this Halloween special, reviewing three horror slash thriller kind of spooky movies, all in one video. And yes, thank you very much, and I will see you after Halloween. Hope you enjoyed this year's Halloween special.